What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Blue Line Patriots. So today we are doing an end of the year 2022 gun collection video. I do have a still frame here, but momentarily we'll get into each and every one of them and talk a little bit about them, and we'll see what unfolds. This is a nice gun hangout. So first up, we have the Ruger 1022. I went ahead and obviously did some stuff to this. I did put a Bushnell. This is an X4 optic. It's I like the profile of it. I like how it looks. Pretty simple. I'm trying to find one just like it that's maybe a 2 or 3X, because I don't know. I don't really find 4X very practical with this. I'm not shooting super far distances, obviously. And mostly, guys, this is just for like 25 meters, 25 yards or so. This is actually a varmint gun that my department uses 22s for like animals with like confirmed rabies or whatever. So we'll take them out and dispose of them as respectful as possible. But so the department has their own Ruger 1022, but I don't trust the sights on it anyway. So this is my little varmint gun here. So I actually name this one. Now, I name all of my guns, guys. I know some people, well, I only had one person be a bitch in the comment section. Like, oh, you name your guns, blah, 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 negative, negative, negative. And I'm like, dude, why the fuck not, right? So anyway, this one here is Paco, because not only is it just my varmint gun, it's my pretend zombie gun. I'm like, you know what, in the apocalypse, Paco, apocalypse. So I'm like, you know, hey, zombie apocalypse, in theory, it's good to have a low rapport and something that'll still get the job done. So instead of blasting off with an AK or an AR, drawing more, you can stay quieter with the 22. So 25 round mags for them, which I like. Now, when I'm at work, I put a 10 round mag in there to make it look more civilian friendly. But if I'm just having fun, hanging out, plinking, it's the 25 round magazine. Why would it not be? Anyway, Paco, Apocalypse, Ruger 1022. I absolutely love this gun. There's nothing more to really say about it unless you want me to get into more details. I'll do a specific gun review for this alone. But if not, let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, next we have the Ruger SP101. Nice revolver, very good to have. Personally, this is my second one. I did have my original one, I think it had a dovetail front sight, but it had, you know, regular standard, I guess, molded sights that you could not trade out if you wanted to. So anyway, I was at the local gun shop one day that I go to a lot, and saw this one in there and thought, okay, sights are different, cool, I want that. So I traded in my original for this one, but I'm pretty sure this is the one that's always been on camera. Now, the reason that we are loaded up is because this is actually my backup gun. It's always in my car, just kind of in my center console. There's maybe, I don't know, 2-3 days a year that I accidentally run out of the house and forget my pistol. Well, that's just my backup just in case. So sometimes it's, I'm going to the store real quick, I run out real fast. I get 5 minutes outside of the house and I think, damn it, I left my freaking pistol at the house. So luckily I have this one that's always in my console locked up. So I throw that on, and then at least I have something. But you gotta have, like, I'm kind of a collector as well as I don't know, I guess you could say collector. But yeah, man, I get certain guns, love certain guns, and this is just one that I had to have. It's a revolver, it's a 5 round mag. That's my hairless cat Mia. Sure, she'll be in some other videos at some point. Anyway, hairless Sphinx, if you're wondering. You gotta feed them a certain way or they will poop all over your house, and it's not the easy stuff to pick up. Anyway, moving on. This one's name is Wheels because it's a wheel gun. But yeah, guys, I had to get at least one revolver. So one thing I want to show is a little bit of safety with this gun. See, some people think that they can just, you know, pull the hammer back. Now, again, it's unloaded. Some people think that they could just pull the hammer back Hang on, I gotta get my loose ammo. It's policed up or she'll have a fit with it. Anyway, so it's cocked back and people think, oh, I just released the hammer, right? Okay, well, what do we see in there right now? We see a little firing pin protruding out of there, right? So all I did is release the hammer. Well, there's a certain way that you have to release this hammer. You're going to squeeze it. Here, first of all, you're going to grab your hammer so it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to squeeze your trigger, and then you're going to let your hammer down a little bit, and then you're going to release your trigger until it does that little click thing there. And then you can release your hammer, and you can see the firing pin does not protrude. Okay? So, you're distracting the audience. Go away. Anywho. So, this is how Alec Baldwin accidentally shot that lady. Because what he did is he obviously had a live round in there. And then squeeze the trigger. And watch in here. Squeeze the trigger. Let go of the hammer. And what do we see? The firing pin. Bam. That's gonna blow off any kind of round with a primer of the right caliber that's in this gun. So for that, you gotta be careful. See? You lower the hammer without letting go of the trigger, and the firing pin protrudes. Again, to release it the proper way is to hold the hammer back, squeeze the trigger, let the hammer go a little bit, let go of the trigger, and watch the trigger as I bring the hammer forward. Hang on, I jammed it all up. Watch the trigger. You see how it just popped right now? That's like a little bar. That's like the reset. Some sort of safety bar goes up in the way of the trigger or the hammer that will not, even if I let it go from here, watch inside where the firing pin is. It does not release because you manipulated the trigger a certain way. Okay, so again, to release it the wrong way, see the firing pin? Now to release it the right way. No firing pin. Okay, got to let that trigger go. But anyway, I like to give that lesson every time I show this gun because a lot of people don't know that, and it's just a safety thing you got to know with this kind of gun. Otherwise, obviously, mistakes can happen. So anyway, 38 revolver, Ruger, 357 Magnum. Obviously, you could throw 57 Magnum through this, but mostly I just fire 38. In the background here, I just have some loose ammo. So in here, just regular American Eagle flat nose stuff. This is actually all of my ammo for the revolver because I don't shoot it much. Some Hornady stuff. It's just a mixed bag of stuff throughout the years. This is what it's loaded with right now. 38 big hole freaking defensive rounds. I forget who these are. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There you go. So anyway, have those. Have the Hornady stuff. Some more regular ball ammo. How much is this? 10 rounds? And then this over here is ball ammo. I think it's the same stuff. No, it's not. Never mind. Alright. So anyway, that's the extent of my ammo. That's the extent of my of wheels. My Ruger SP101. Got to have one revolver. This is my revolver and backup gun. It's always on the back burner, but it's always there when I need it, so it's a dependable gun. Up next is old trusty Rusty, the SKS. Now, this is just one of those guns that, man, you just keep. Now, why did I even want an SKS? Well, I wanted an SKS because I just wanted something simple. You know, just a simple plinker, fun 7.62 gun, I guess. And I did like the... I almost want to say Atlantic Firearms, but it was not Atlantic Firearms. Classic Firearms. So they imported a bunch of these SKSs from God knows where. And actually, I'll just bring it up closer so you can see for yourself. But so they're all in clearly used condition. Bumps, nicks, scrapes, scratches, a little bit of rust here and there. I did a good job cleaning it up, so it's not terrible. All the high areas kind of polished out. So, I mean, this gun, man, I mean, I don't know its history, but I know that it definitely has seen some very rough use. Very rough use where? I don't know. It'd be really nice if you can go by serial number and see where this was. It was built in 52. They say it was stored in a neutral country for 20 years or something, so that does something where they could ship them over. So these SKSs from the lot that I got were all used somewhere. Who knows where? Since 52, there's a lot of possibilities. But I don't know. Shooting it, I wasn't sure if it was going to be accurate, you know, but it ended up being very accurate. Very good shooting rifle, very smooth, smoother than any AK that I've ever fired, and it, you know, shoots the same ammo. So it's a great gun. I mean, you know, would it be my go-to? No, but if it's all I had, yeah, I'd feel all right with it. You know, 10-round magazine, 7.62 semi-auto, very accurate, very smooth. You know, I feel, and I will say, some states don't allow this, but luckily my state's pretty cool when it comes to guns. But you get a nice spike bayonet at the end of there. So, I mean, it's a long rifle. I think I did a video on this not long ago. So you can look back in the history and find it. But pretty cool, pretty cool. But just to know that this was definitely used somewhere and did something, even if it was just a training rifle or, you know, just something somebody picked rice with for 20 years, whatever. But it is cool. It is cool. I do appreciate the older stuff with history. So anyway, SKS, gotta have it. And of course I like it so much. I bought, you know, the clip springs for them and the clip holder. So yeah, very invested in this gun. I love this gun. Its name is Goop Muck, like goop muck, because when I bought it, it was covered in goop and muck and cosmoline all over it. Had to bake it in the oven. There's still some stuff in there that I can't really get out, but all in all, it's all matching parts. I don't really care too much about that, but I guess it's good to know. And it shoots very, very well. So what can I say? I'm going to keep it. Those of you familiar with the channel, seen this before. This is my M&P 2.0. I've had this gun, been training with this gun, been on duty with this gun for at least the last 5 years. What can I say? I love this gun. Still iron sights, still rocking the iron sights, but whatever. I'm cool with that. I've always been cool with irons. Now, I did get the TLR 8. I'm going to see if I can... Okay, apparently... Whatever. I can't focus on it, guys. Sorry. Maybe it'll come out better when it renders, whatever. But anyway, it's a TLR 8. I have light and laser on it. You can't quite see the laser. But anyway, laser as well. Now, one thing I'll say about lasers, I've never been like super crazy about them, but one thing it does do, as a police officer, sometimes you have to point your gun at somebody. Well, sometimes just presenting that pistol doesn't always do it. But when they see a laser on them and they notice that laser's on them, I don't know what happens, but a lot of times it just kind of are like, okay, like all of a sudden it's real, you know? So anyway, I recommend the laser just off of that. It kind of lets them know that, yeah, I'm definitely pointing my gun at you, you know? So, plus it could be like a little, you know, warning to, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, the laser has a psychological effect that from time to time I've appreciated on the job. So anyway, light is always good too. So M&P 2.0, I don't know, I've had a bunch of rounds through it, trained a lot with it. This is my #1 go-to gun, you know, duty-wise right now. So for duty, outside the waistband carry, highly recommend it. M&P 2.0. I've been using it for a long time. The grip is really abrasive, not good for concealed carry, but excellent for duty carry. I just love the thing. It shoots great. My accuracy with this is off the charts, so Do I recommend it for duty? Absolutely. M&P 2.0, 5 years later, still going strong. I did have to, at some point, replace my extractor because I was having extracting issues. So I went ahead, bought a new one, put it in, and it's been fine ever since. So I guess other than that extractor after 5 years, really no issue. Anyway, this one's name is Boss because it's my working gun on the job. Why not? Alright guys, so this next gun is a PSA GF3. Oh, it's my go-to. I mean, if I were to pick a go-to war gun, it might be this gun. I'm not sure, but it might be. Personally, I just like that short barrel 7.62. Short barrel 7.62 guns do great. For whatever reason, the ballistics on them pretty decently accurate and still hit pretty decently hard out to certain ranges that just a 5.56 couldn't, you know. I mean, you might have certain velocity, and of course, you know, you still don't want to be the one getting hit by that. But I guess when it comes to like actually putting your target down and accuracy and whatnot, 11-inch barrel out of a 7.62, you know, does a pretty decent job. So anyway, I just love this gun so much, man. I've got it years ago. I got it originally years ago. Never had any issues with it. I did end up putting a, let's see if I can show you this. I don't know if it'll focus or not. There we go. Armacon.su. So this here is a flash cone. Okay, flash cone, blast cone, whatever you want to call it. So it's not an FNA, you don't need an ATF form for it. All it is just, it keeps like concussion and blast in here. And a decent amount of flash it'll keep in here too. And that's good because, again, it's an 11-inch barrel, 7.62 by 3.9. So you want some of that because otherwise you're going to have a lot of concussion. You're going to have a lot of flash. But you put this on there, and I don't want to say it takes away all of it, but it takes away a very 90% of it at least, which is excellent. I did put a SIG Romeo 5 on here. I did have a Hollow Sun, I forget what model it was, but it had the solar stuff on top. I had that on here. It couldn't keep up. It could not hold zero. You know, it kept shifting on me. So I'm like, screw it. So anyway, I went to the SIG Romeo 5 because I had it on my duty rifle for work, my M4 clone, I guess you can call it. It doesn't fire full auto, but still 14.5-inch barrel, all that fun stuff. But yeah, so I had it on there. It worked just fine. The battery's great. So I put this on here, zeroed it in. I haven't had to touch a sight since. So it's working just great, man. I love this optic. It's cheap. It's definitely worth more than they're selling it for, that's for sure. I mean, the battery basically lasts 5 years, maybe 4, you know, still not bad. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much that. I love this gun. I can't talk about it. I could talk about it all day, but let's get moving. I guess if you want some more information about this one, throw it in the comments. Maybe I'll make a more in-depth video, throw some shooting in there too. And yeah, so that's that. The name for this one, I almost forgot. Dober. Basically because it's got a long snout, looks like a Doberman Pinscher. So, heck yeah. All right, on to the next. Up next, we have Soteria. Yeah, I know, name is weird. But it's the goddess of safety, deliverance from harm, all that sort of thing. So, GHM9. This one is SBR'd, so for all you FUDs out there, ain't gotta freak out. Of course, I have my forward grip on it. I did put a muzzle brake on it. Should have just put a flash hider on it, really, but it's a brake and a flash hider because I wanted to extend the barrel on this because this with a longer barrel would be an awesome gun. So I got a long muzzle device and capitalizing on that. Now, I do have a light on here. I forget exactly what it is. I have a bunch of them that just kind of float around in a box, and I see what fits on my new guns, and I stick them on there. ProTac, Streamlight. It's upside down. 10 tap, I don't freaking know. Anyway, I guess you just Pro Tac, whatever, Streamlight. I know that there's different ones. There's like the Scout and whatever, but they all just blend together for me. Anyway, momentary on and off switch and the actual button. I wish these were easier to find. Apparently they're not. But yeah, I much prefer these. Backup irons in the rear. Also another SIG Romeo 5, because for the money, I wanted to get a low profile optic, something to sit a little lower on here. But the problem with that was the flip ups. These are regular AR height flip ups, so I can co-witness through here just fine. But yeah, it just sucks because where this stock is, you can't really get lower to get on any low profile sights there. I mean, you can, but it's very uncomfortable. So whatever, I'm just sticking with the sights here. So, I mean, I'd like it if this mounted lower, but I don't really see how it could, unless I get a different stock and it dips or something. But for what it is, I like it. Can't complain. This used to be my go-to home defense gun, and it still kind of is. It's just that PSA, man, it grabs me every time. But I don't know, I guess if I had to get super serious with it, this would be my go-to home defense, because I do have a light. I do have very good recoil control, 9mm hollows. They work just fine. The magazines pretty much hold everything. They hold everything. They shoot everything. I haven't had any hang-ups. I did have hang-ups with another gun I used to have. I forget what the hell that's called, the Strybog. Strybog magazine sucked with steel case ammo. You would get nothing but jams, and the gun itself was fine, but the magazines were absolute crap. So anyway, I just decided to go with this because it's a very small gun. You know, I mean, it feels like just like a really big pistol. It's a very small gun. So for a 9mm, that's just fine. So anyway, the magazines, like I was saying before, no issues with steel case, no issues with brass, no issues with hollow points. Feeds everything just fine. Zero jam, zero issues. So yeah, do I like it? Yeah, of course. This is my first, I think, no, this was my second SPR. So I'm just glad I did that. I want to say it was the E-Forms. The E-Forms took I did, you know, the whole thing online on their website, the ATF website, and it took 3 weeks to get my stuff back. So, I mean, it's pretty fast if you do it that way. So that's my recommendation. Anyway, moving on. Next here we have Bruiser, the Remington 870. It's not a very long stretch of the imagination to figure out why it's called Bruiser. Well, basically when I first bought it, now I've been around pistols, rifles of all kinds my entire life, crew serve weapons, whatever. Not shotguns, you know. As far as I knew, yeah, there's shotgun shells, you load them in, you blast them off, cool. So I went and bought about 200, maybe 100. Maybe they came in boxes of 50. You know what? Best case scenario, they came in boxes of 25, and I bought 100 3-inch double-aught books. Oh, fuck. Yeah. So anyway, I get out there, and you know, I'm throwing them in, and I got some regular buckshot too. You know, but I didn't know the difference between the boxes or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, give me that, and give me that. Cool, let's go. So I go to the range and I chamber one in. And I just remember my first round, whatever, no big deal. It smacked, but whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's a shotgun. Then my second round, fucking smacked me again. And I'm like, all right, you know, whatever. It's all good. I fired the next round, and you know, it just fired like I would expect a shotgun to feel like, you know what I mean? Not like the first two. So I fired this third one off, and I'm like, huh. I'm like, that felt different than the other ones. I'm like, dude, do I have a squib? you know, because it felt so soft. I'm like, I got to make sure that thing cleared the barrel. Like, I don't think it, whatever. So, you know, I break it down, I check inside, clear barrel. All right, you know, whatever. Back together it goes. And I'm firing off rounds, and I'm wondering, I'm like, why the fuck do some of them hurt so goddamn bad? And some of them are just fine, you know? So anyway, after that, I figured out the difference between 3 and I started noticing, I'm like, oh, they're different sizes. So yeah, man, 3-inch double-aught buck, dude. That's not target ammo. Don't buy that. Don't buy that. I have actually now, since I learned my lesson, I do have this bandolier here. I forget how many rounds it holds, maybe like 58 or something. But most of it is this low recoil, reduced recoil law enforcement loads. So they're still very effective. I guess they just use a different type of powder or whatever. I don't really know exactly how they work, but they feel like you're shooting an AR, maybe like a heavy load AR. When you fire these, and then of course you have some slugs. Gotta have some slugs. Why not, right? So the slugs are fine. I mean, they feel like normal. Those are just regular Federals. But yeah, so this gun definitely taught me the difference between 3-inch buck, 3-inch double-aught buck, Magnum, and just regular buck, 2 3/4 inch, you know. And of course, birdshot is even better if you're just plinking around and screwing off. But yeah, anyway, this is more like a duty thing, not necessarily for hunting. So I do have, these are double-aught buck, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're double-aught buck, 9 pellet. Just reduced recoil. They feel just like you're firing an AR, really. But yeah, that's about it for Bruiser. So 12 gauge Remington 870. Gotta have a shotgun. So anyway, moving on. Up next, we have the Glock 43X. This has been my off-duty carry for a very long time. Since I got it, I think 2 years ago, maybe. I do love this gun. I carry it. I have been carrying it every single day for the last couple of years. I have the Streamlight, kind of like 100 lumen light here, which is great. You know, if you wake up in the middle of the night, your eyes are not going to be adjusted to shit. So having a low light to kind of, you know, search around the house if need be, it's not bad. So anyway, that's why that's there. It's basically my bedtime gun. And I will say, I have been messing around with other grips lately, and when I pick this up now, it feels like a toy, like a baby toy. It's smooth. And I think the only way to understand what I'm talking about is to play around with a Hellcat for a little bit, and the grip difference. Oh my God. And then when you go back to a Glock, it's it just feels like a baby toy. It's so soft. You know, like you can't get hurt on it. Anyway, so I guess this will be a 2-for-1. So my Glock 43X, I did replace the magazine catch here, or magazine release, I should say, or catch. I guess it does both. I do have a Shield Arms 15-round magazine for it, so that's always been the case for this gun anyway. So it did come with the 10-round magazines, but what I did, because these are single stack and they're 10 rounds, what I did is I loaded them with some 9mm NATO. I think they're 147 grain. They're just flat nose like that. So if I do go out of state that doesn't allow the 15-round mag or whatever, even though I am a police officer, there's certain battles you don't want to get wrapped up in if you don't need to. So if I go on vacation or something, go to a very unfriendly whatever, I'm like, okay, I'll just stick with a single stack 10-round magazine. I'll bring both of them, and this way at least I'm kind of compliant-ish, whatever. So I do keep these around. I do keep that 9mm NATO handy for it, just in case. Because again, single stack magazine, 10-round limit. They're not hollow points, you know, so they're technically full metal jacket. They're just flat. So, yeah, that's why I have that. Now, my new, I guess this will be my travel gun, basically. Now my new everyday carry is this Hellcat Pro. The Hellcat Pro, very awesome. I picked it up a couple of days ago, and I just love it. The trigger on it is flat. Oh, mind you, the name of the Glock 43X is Pitch. That's named after an old cat I had. He was a black cat, fierce. So yeah, that's a black gun and fierce. Anyway, got the new gun. Hellcat Pro, do I love it? I'm absolutely in love with this gun right now. Absolutely in love with it. I do have my dot, obviously, Hollow Sun, green dot. I just like the way the green dot is. I didn't get the thing that charges on top, I think it's the 507 or whatever, basically because this battery lasts a super long time anyway, and the biggest seller for me was the side drawer, where you could load your battery in that way. So I saw that, and I'm like, I don't care who else makes anything else. Just the fact that you could change your battery like that without having to undo everything, that's great for me. So that's probably the biggest selling point for this optic alone. And again, I do have the same Streamlight, the TLR-8. I have this on my duty pistol, but I also have it on this gun too. And if you watch my other Hellcat Pro video, basically the reason I bought this one is because I'm starting a new job, and I wanted something bigger than the 43X, which this is maybe about a ½ inch longer. Bigger than the 43X, and I did like that it comes from the factory with 15 round magazines. Now the Glock comes from the factory with 10 round magazines, and that 15 round magazine is an aftermarket, and there were times when it didn't lock back on me, and I have had magazine issues with that gun. Nothing that's like a showstopper. They've always just been failure to locks. No feeding issues, none of that. Just when I'm out of ammo, it doesn't lock back every time. So with this gun, the ironic thing is I might run into the same issue with it. The magazines, yes, they are from the factory. They're designed to run. They're going to lock back every time if there's zero obstruction. Asterisk. If there is zero obstruction. So the problem with this Hellcat Pro is where the slide lock is. Because if you look at how your knuckles go on a gun, especially if you like a high grip on a pistol, all right, so where your knuckle goes is right where that is. So you might be gripping on that while you're firing, and you're making contact with it, and when you're out of ammo, that won't lock back anyway. So basically, I got the same problem. Now, it's a training issue, of course. I can force myself to keep my knuckles a little low. You know, don't take such a high grip, whatever, just get on it a certain way. Okay, cool. You know, that's obviously something we can train to. Won't be an issue in the future, but initially, yeah, that's an issue. One thing I do recommend for their next model, if they make a next model, is to take this slide lock here and move it up here. This way, it's not in your workspace. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's not like where you're going to be gripping, but it's more like, you know, you're going to be able to get it when you want to get it. You're not going to accidentally be hitting it. So it'll still be in your quote-unquote workspace, but it'll be in a much better position if it was up by my thumb right here, as opposed to being back here. So that's all my criticism for this gun. Otherwise, man, I love this gun. I love the sights. Part of me wishes I didn't put an optic on it yet so I can enjoy those sights more, because I really do like that sight picture without the red dot, but it's there. It's stuck there, so whatever. But anyway, yeah, love this gun. Hellcat, you've maybe have seen my hairless Sphinx in some other videos, so I'm going to name this one after her. So this one's going to be Mia Hellcat. All right, moving on. It's tall, it's black, it's classic. Morgan Freeman, everybody. This is my M16A3 clone-ish by, I'm trying to think who makes this. Oh, Stag Arms, look at that. Stag Arms. But yeah, I had to give me an M16. And this M16, yes, I do call it Morgan Freeman. The reason I call it Morgan Freeman is just like the intro. It's a classic. It's classic, it's black, everybody can appreciate it. It's in all the best movies, you know? So, yeah, man, gotta have an M16. I did modernize it just a little bit. I did put a BCM grip on it here. I don't like the stock grips, so I had to change that out. Yeah, I guess a newer Magpul magazine I typically throw in here, but I really do not mind the regular GI mags. I think those are great. I just don't have any of them laying around right now because I use them all for my M4, my duty rifle. So I'm like, screw it, whatever, I'll throw this in there. Gets the point across. But anyway, yeah, this the most smooth shooting AR I've ever fired in my life. I mean, it's just, I mean, it makes sense. It's bigger than the, you know, your typical AR. It's got a 18-inch barrel. It's either 18 or 20. I really forget. We'll just say 20. Maybe 18. I honestly don't know. But anyway, it's just your standard issue. When I was a Master at Arms in the Navy, this is what I qualified on. So it does have a little bit of nostalgia to it. And, I mean, you just can't beat a classic M16, can you? All right, moving on. All right, guys, up next, we have another classic, the FAL. Now, this is an 18-inch barrel, 308. I guess you can say 7.62 NATO. Oh, I love this. I want to say this came from DS Arms. Gotta double check. Gotta see here. I don't think it says it on this. Yeah, DS Arms. I don't know if that'll focus. My light's getting shitty, guys. I'm sorry. But anyway, DS Arms, FAL. And this one's name is Zogon. Reason for that is because one of my cats' name is Gonzo. So I basically reversed and switched all the letters in his name to come up with a name for this gun. He's not an all-black gun, though, or cat, though. So 308 metric FAL, not the inch pattern. Apparently there's a difference between inch pattern FALs and metric pattern FALs. Inch pattern FALs are the FALs that you see from time to time and you think, ugh, those are the inch patterns. This is a metric pattern. Metric pattern has a certain muzzle device on it. I think all this is like a certain design. The charging handle is a different design on the inch patterns. Basically, there's just a bunch of random stuff that's different on them, and they look disgusting. They're like the... I don't even know. But if you ever, you know, see it, you'll know. The only thing I replaced on this gun, because I wanted to keep it as, like, original and authentic as I could, so I replaced two things. I replaced the pistol grip on it, because the pistol grip on a regular FAL is like this. It's almost like a rifle, like an actual, you know, hunting rifle kind of a slant. But I'm like, no, I don't like that, because standing up, shooting, just fine. Prone was very difficult. Not very difficult, you could still do it, but you have way less control. You have way more control with a more vertical grip. So anyway, I changed that out, and I changed the rear sights out, because the rear sights that originally came with this were like, I'm trying to think how to put it. Basically, if you had to adjust the windage, you had to unscrew a screw on this side and then screw the screw down on that side, and a bunch of weird funky stuff. So this is just easier. I have elevation, or no, I'm sorry, I have windage here, and I have elevation up front with a tool. So not bad, not bad. Now the only thing that I would change on this gun if I could is I don't have sand cuts here. I thought it would just come with it, but it didn't. So if you do buy an FAL from DS Arms, make sure that you're clear about what kind of bolt you want. Otherwise you'll get a regular, I mean, don't get me wrong, this will still work just fine, but you won't get an authentic sand cutter bolt. So I guess once I have some extra money set aside, I'll go ahead and buy that, because it does bum me out every time I look at that, and I'm like, oh, it could have been better, but it's not. Now I need to spend more cash and wait longer just to get what I want, or, you know, just to get the bolt thing, you know, adjusted, but whatever. So I do have quite a story about getting magazines from Gunbroker. Jeez Louise. And I do have a bunch of different ammos in here. So this one is basically, these are like silver bullets. So in a way, I kind of jokingly refer to this rifle as my werewolf gun. Because and this one here is just a mixture. That's funny. I loaded these so long ago, I haven't really screwed with them. But yeah, it's funny because every other round is a silver bullet and every other round is a brass or a copper jacket. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so I guess this would be my 50-50 mag. Yeah, so 4 werewolves, just in case I'm not entirely sure if they're werewolves or not, and anti-personnel. Oh man, gotta have a 308. But I will say, and you can boo me for this, I'm sure some of you will, here's some old random mil-spec ammo, European of some sort, and you gotta have at least 120 round magazine, or 130 round magazine, just in case. And this is all regular ball ammo. So I love this gun. Now I was gonna say something when I was talking about the mags. Oh, if you want to hear my magazine story, I do have another video dedicated completely to the DSA Arms FAL. Watch that video. Hear my adventures. But yeah, getting magazines for the FAL, I don't know how it is now. It might still suck, but a couple of months ago, it sucked pretty bad. So there's a lot of bull crap I had to go through on Gunbroker just to get these mags. Ugh. But anyway, that's it for the FAL. Let's move on to something else. Alright guys, for our next gun here, we have a Taurus 1911. It might be actually called something specific. Taurus. 1911 Commander. There it is. So, this is not my go-to gun. Being a Taurus, I don't really trust Taurus, but nice. I forgot what kind of ammo I have in this. Obviously, this is not a gun that I carry around often, or it's basically just a range toy, really. I mean, if I had to use it for defense, whatever, I'd feel comfortable, but I wouldn't. This one wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, 8 rounds. You know, there's smaller guns I can get with far more ammo, magazine capacity. But I mean, it is a very nice. I mean, you can kind of see down in the chamber there. It's a nice polished chamber. I don't fire this often. Maybe once a year I'll play with it. But otherwise, it's basically just a safe queen. It does come apart just like a 1911 should. This is something I hate to see on 1911s, where this bushing here, they don't have a bushing and they have like a weird tool that they put down there to like take it all apart. It's just so dumb to me. It's like, why are you changing the design? You're not making it better. You know, the companies that do that, they don't make a better product. Like Kimber does that, and it's like, this Taurus is just as good as a Kimber. You know what I mean? Like, Kimbers have a reputation for, I mean, they used to have a reputation. They look great, you know, they feel nice, but then when you go and shoot them, they're not any more dependable than this is. I've had Kimbers, I know. You know, this shoots just fine, and so do they. This actually holds its finish quite better than a Kimber. Kimbers, I've heard it said many times, and not just by me, are kind of just overpriced Tauruses. But I digress. Anyway, this gun, I have it written on here. See if it'll focus. Stella, in cursive. So the name for this one is Stella. I gave it a little, kind of like older name, something like maybe World War II name. Like, yeah, I met this gal Stella at the bar the other night. Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's the name it got because it does have a really nice, you know, it's got like the silver, the nickel plating or whatever with the black, with the OD green. And to me, that color combination is just World War II at its finest. So, gave her a nice World War II gal's name. Hell yeah, right? So anyway, if you're considering buying this and it's not going to be your #1 go-to gun, I say all day, man, go get it. I mean, this was like $4 something when I bought it. A 1911 for $400, a 1911 for $500, still a good deal. So, because I'm used to Kimbers, you know, and SIGs. I bought 2 Kimbers. Both of them were $1,200 and up, and I bought a SIG that was like $1,700, and that was a fastback carry. I love that gun, but Jesus, that gun put me into collections because I used my credit card way back when. But anyway, I'm like, a nice cheap 1911 that looks really nice. Yeah, absolutely. So I still have this, still hanging around with it, still playing with it. Feels great. I do like to shoot it. It's just when ammo got super expensive, I kind of, you know, a lot of these guns just sat on the backboard. So, but ammo prices are not back down to where they used to be, but they are kind of coming back down. So I don't know. I guess if you want to see a more in-depth video on this 1911 here, put it in the comments, and I'll get pretty in-depth with it. Do some shooting with it, you know, get that on camera, let you guys see how it prints and whatnot. So I don't mind being 100% honest about it. I got it sitting here doing nothing otherwise. Anyway, moving on. And last but not least, guys, we have the BCM M4 here. And this one, named Themis, it's a Greek goddess of justice, personification of justice and order. So that's that. I do have my sling here. It's a 2-point sling. You can make it a 1-point sling also. I just have it rubber band in the back here to hold it in place so it's not flopping all over. So if I need to use it, I just break the rubber band and you know, use the sling. One thing I would strongly recommend is this low profile Veltor light holder. Works perfectly for me. I might do a more in-depth review on this some other time. I did take some yellow paint marker and kind of highlight all the cool stuff. I did the same thing on the other side. I do have a SIG Romeo 5 on this as well, and I've probably had this rifle or this optic on this rifle for, man, well over a year. Probably a year and a half. Same battery. In temperatures as cold as 2 degrees, or probably 0 degrees really, maybe -1, and all the way up to 100+ degrees. And I have experienced 0 dot shift or reticle shift, if you will. Aim points, on the other hand, I had an Aim Point Pro for a couple years, and I did have issues with that. Basically, it's 5 times. It was 5 times the price of this, and I would have a reticle shift if it got too cold. So for the money, I mean, these SIG Romeo 5s, guys, are going on Amazon maybe $125, maybe $119, depending on where you look for them. But I mean, I swear by them. They're great optics. So I was a little apprehensive at first picking them up because of the price point, but I mean, having used it, trained with it, it's been on my duty rifle over a year and a half. 0 issues, 0 shift. It's better quality than an Aim Point Pro, and an Aim Point Pro, last time I checked anyhow, was going to run you $400, $500. That might have changed, don't quote me on that, but $400, $500 compared to 125 max, let's just call it 150 for the sake of conversation. Can't beat it. So anyway, yeah, I highly recommend this mount here, and I highly recommend the SIG Romeo 5. It's just an outstanding optic. That's pretty much it, guys. That is my gun collection for 2022, and if you've watched my 2021 gun collection video, obviously I'm missing a few, although I added a few. So unfortunately, my AK-47, that B.L.P, the Polish AK, the M14, my Recce rifle, that was an AR. It was basically kind of a Frankenstein build, but it was on a a SIG 516 lower. I still have the upper in my closet. But yeah, so I did sell a few, traded a few in for ones I have now. And the biggest reason basically I swapped the M14 for the FAL is because I still wanted a 308 rifle, but the FAL is just a little bit more, well, I got an 18-inch barrel, and I think my M14 had a 21-inch barrel plus the compensator on the end, or the muzzle device, whatever you want to call it. I just figured the FAL was definitely more, I don't want to say ergonomic because that's not the word. Even though I love the M14, that was hard to get rid of. That broke my heart. But I think the FAL is just a little bit more intuitive. I like where the safety's at. After I upgraded the pistol grip, I like that there's a pistol grip. I just wish you could shorten the stocks on them a little bit. I know that you can get other stocks, but I want to kind of keep it as what do you call it, as original as I possibly can. But anyway, that's conversation for another time. But anyway, yeah, I did sell the M14 for the FAL, and sold a couple other guns because I needed some money at a certain point. But perhaps one day I will restock the collection with those guns, and you know, we'll be moving forward. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I don't know what I'll be putting out next, but give it a couple weeks. I'm sure I'll have something for you. That's pretty much it for today, guys. Stay safe out there. Stay smart. I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Before you go, I want to let you know about my 2 stores. The links are in the description below. If you like tactical, survival, anti-woke stuff, this is the place for you. I have lots of t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, paracord wristbands, and keychains that make for great gifts or your own personal gear. Look cool, or just troll the soy boys with Blue Line Patriot swag. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay up to date with my content. But above all, stay safe, stay smart. Blue Line Patriot, out.